ho, ho, ho.
Time for parties and celebrations. People dancing all night long. Time for presents and exchanging kisses. Time for singing Christmas songs.
How much you really award and welcome to my review for The Wolf Among Us. This is the brand new Telltale game from the guys behind The Walking Dead. A little awesome game that was released earlier on this year. Well, guess what? They've done a brand new game series and I've just finished playing it now. It's recently free on Xbox 360, Xbox Live, I think for today only, so if you want to play it, just download it now. Hopefully this video will be uploaded by the time you can. I think it's like a day exclusive or something along those lines. Just recently finished playing it and holy shit. Put The Walking Dead aside for a minute. The Wolf Among Us is absolutely fantastic. I'm loving the new vibe, I'm loving the story, loving the characters, and this game truly did shock me with some of the twists, some of the little things they've done within it. It's just fantastic. So let's talk about The Wolf Among Us. So The Wolf Among Us is based upon a DC comic book series, based upon like a skewed kind of version of these kind of fairy tales in terms of the wolf and the frog and the toad and Snow White, all these kind of characters set within a kind of a modern day kind of realistic universe, much like kind of Hansel and Gretel kind of steampunk universe that was, and in terms of Snow White and the Huntsman, that type of thing, but except done in a modern day. Who these characters would be in a modern day society filled with crime, just kind of blending in with the rest of the world. Us is known as kind of fables in a sense. We're the kind of the real world, we're the humans. We don't interact with them too much if we can help. The fairy tale world is very secure, has its own kind of town area, and basically the main storyline is you play as a character named as Wolf, which of course is the big bad wolf, from the Three Little Pigs and Little Red Riding Hood, and you're playing basically you're a detective, and you just kind of trying to make amends for what you've done in the past. It's very serious, very realistic, and I like the idea of that. His character's trying to move past what he's done and all the people that he's terrorized and feed over the years, and he gets caught up in this kind of little murder spree that's happening in this little town area, and it hasn't happened for a while, so something is stirred the hornet's nest, and he's trying to find out who the killer is in this first episode anyway, and to try and find out what's going on, what's happened here, what's connected to this, who's to blame, who's the suspects, and I love the deal of it. It's investigation feel this time around. Unlike The Walking Dead, which is more about surviving the zombies and choosing characters to live or die in a sense. This one's more of an investigation. It's more like getting to know people, trying to figure out what's happened within a crime scene. It's very interesting. It's got that kind of LA Norm feel to it in a way, but except I kind of like it. It's a point and click game. You know exactly what you're getting from this type of Telltale game if you play The Walking Dead. It does not mean it's a bad thing. It actually is quite fun, in all fairness. It soaks up the story a lot more, and you can kind of really interact. And being the fact this game is based upon choices, of course, my choices are very different from other people's. In terms of go to a location or get someone else instead of that person, for instance, or making the wrong choices in terms of your conversations, or completely missing it if you wanted to, or get your ass whooped in a fight scene. There's lots of opportunities, lots of different decisions to be made in this game, in this first little episode, and I gotta say I was extremely impressed. I can't understand why I didn't get it from the straight get-go. It's the same with The Walking Dead. I wore The Walking Dead, I got the whole thing, played all 5 episodes, of course played the 400 days, and of course this one was free. I instantly had to do it just to see my opinions on it, and I absolutely love it. I'm going to get the season pass when I can. I would put some money in my account to get it because this game is awesome. I love it. I'm just so excited just to see the second episode, to continue this kind of storyline to it. I'm not going to give away too much in terms of this, in terms of the twists and things like that. Obviously, it could be very different from what your experience will be. The characters are extremely impressive in this game. The character Wolf is very interesting. He's kind of got that guy, chip off the old shoulder in terms, you can clearly tell he's had a past, he's done bad things. He wants to make amends for it, but at the same time, he's still got that temper. He's still got that kind of that weight upon his shoulders, and through your decisions, you can make tell a character to go and fuck themselves in a sense, or generally listen to the person and deal with the situation at hand. Some people you're gonna make enemies quite fast. Some people you're gonna like really piss off or go into fights very easily. For my interpretation of the character, I like to see him as a guy that's doesn't want to do what he wants to do. Yes, he tries to avoid violence. That's how I see him, and I chose certain options to kind of like limit the violence if I could, and try and talk to some of the characters, because at the end of the day, it makes them connect with each other, and I really like that, and I really like how they played upon the idea of good guys versus bad guys. There's a character called the Woodsman very early on in the first kind of sequence of the game, and you instantly think, oh, he's the bad guy kind of thing. He's a woodsman. He's beating up a woman in a sense. You find out more about his character, and especially towards the end of the first episode, you find out certain things, and it's kind of like makes you think about what's really going on here. Who are the suspects? Who can I trust? Who can't I trust? And there's definitely a couple of twists and turns which I definitely did not expect to see coming in the game. In terms of the characters and just other things that happen played out. So something big is going on in this story. There's some characters you're instantly going to hate, obviously. There's kind of love interest characters. Snow White is actually a detective along with you. I thought that was quite clever and quite charming in places. I like the idea of how you can interact with stuff. Of course, I like some of the new mechanic systems they chose. Improvement over The Walking Dead. Choosing objects and especially the fight sequences are much more improved. Being the fact that you're a wolf and you're facing kind of like other kind of fairy tale like creatures in the sense, it makes sense they've kind of like get that quick fast approach like. Attacking the knee, or getting like a bat or something and stabbing him, or using your skills appropriately. You can get your entire ass whooped if you want. You can get the extremely bad version of the ending, which I haven't done yet really. I might go back and just to see how that plays out. But for a first episode, I was extremely impressed. I'm definitely gonna get the season pass. I want to play the others. If The Walking Dead season 2 is anything like this, I'm gonna be a very happy man for 2014. What are your thoughts, guys? Have you played The Wolf Among Us? What did you think? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? Have you played The Walking Dead season 2? Yeah, what do you think of that? Lots of your opinions. I haven't gone to play that yet. I will do. So in the meantime, Andrew from Video From Game TV, signing out.